Night Scourge will finally be destroyed.
It's only, so like that gentleman said, it's only 7:05. And there are plenty of people out here already. Hundreds of people. Let's go over and get a few people over here. How long you been waiting out here?
Since 10 to 4.
10 to 4. And who are you here to see?
Gimli.
All right. Obviously.
Curious about my life. I never really intended to become a comic book artist. I went to college and got a degree in psychology, and I was actually a pre-med when I was there, and something just didn't gel right. And you know what?
Okay. Always love this cover. Look at the whales too. The texture for the whales is just really cool. The Gen 13 Archives is a must own because it's your very best black and white source for anything early J. Scott Campbell.
And glad you could take a few minutes here to talk with us.
Oh, no problem.
Just got some, some basic questions, some things that a lot of it's probably been asked before, but
right.
I don't know if there's anything that hasn't been asked.
I've heard almost every single question you could probably come up with, but go ahead.
I figure.
See if you can shock me here.
Okay, well, we're going to start up with who came up with the crossover, the killer?
Basically, Mark and I had been talking as early as last year about doing a project together where the characters Cyberforce and Wildcats interacted. And but we were just doing miniseries at the time. We had scheduling problems, obviously, and we really didn't have an opportunity to do something together until this year when we took both titles into regular series. And we decided, since he was coming back with the new regular series and I was continuing sort of the miniseries, we wanted to do a crossover to kind of give the re-releases some punch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how it came about.
Well, like you said in Wildcats 5, it's actually like issue 1, but...
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a completely different storyline. I think some time has passed since the miniseries to issue 5, but I just didn't want to start over with another issue 1.
Right.
I feel like there's a certain amount of momentum you lose by starting over again. You want to kind of break the Earth's, sort of gravity and take off and really get rolling with the stories. And if you're continually doing issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's difficult to do that. Typically, first issues you have to, first issues follow a certain kind of structure because it's the first issue, and you have to tell the readers about the characters and introduce things in a very logical, sequential way. With an issue 5, you can just go ahead and assume that a lot of the readers
Right.
are familiar with the characters and get into another story that can have a different and more interesting structure than typical first issues. I think first issues are very difficult too.
This pack feels a little heavier. Wow, cool looking Void. Void just works so well when it comes to Chrome. We got to hit those comments. We got to see what comments are coming in. Right, hold up. Let me just get to my comments. Boom. Okay. Sean Phillips. Very awesome post here. Brian Silfries. Another Dave Johnson. Not Rich Johnson, Dave Johnson. What am I doing? Dave Johnson and David Pearson, both very similar styles of this era. Very cool Grifter.
Get ready. We're
This is a cover-worthy image
first
for a trading
WildStorm
card.
Wednesday of 20.
Jason Raskin,
22.
very cool. Very cool. Hellspont. Rick Mays. Okay. Warblade here. Oh, we have our first bonus card, Refractor card, Demonite. Tony Harris. Tony Harris really came into prominence working through WildStorm for Ex Machina after coming off Starman. J. Scott Campbell here. This almost looks like a
And that is it. That quickly we are live and we have the Total Excellence in the house. Do I gotta spot up my cami? Do I gotta get a nice little little shine on this. So here we go. WildStorm Wednesday. What is WildStorm Wednesday? WildStorm Wednesday is where we analytically, compulsively, obsessively go over what was and maybe one day what will be the greatest independent comic book publisher the world has ever seen. Superhero, military, science fiction, action. That's how I define WildStorm. Jim Lee. Who's Jim Lee? Well, a lot of you people might only know Jim Lee through The Dark Knight. Jim Lee got his start Marvel Comics, Punisher, X-Men, Alpha Flight. Then he gets into the 90s and he's like, I'm just going to join Image Comics and do it all myself. Now, I thought I would just kind of, I don't know, like salivate a little, quick drop video, but show you guys what inspired me to start doing WildStorm Wednesdays. And here's the funny thing. The Jim Lee Noir for the Dark Knight, for the Batman, this is like one of your only resources for Jim Lee black and white artwork, okay? If you're really interested in what he was doing with Scott Williams. Now, I'll say this. The Hush Dark Knight, the Hush Batman, it's good. But it's not, like Jim Lee is phasing out of being Jim Lee by the time he's done these 12 issues. Okay? So what inspired me to really start doing WildStorm Wednesdays was this ash cane here. I bought this off of eBay for maybe $8. Okay? Oh my God, we got the Juke Joint in the house. Later tonight, everyone. Can I find? Here we go. Later tonight, we'll be doing a Stainuary. Juke Joint here is the co-creator of Stainuary. He is the guy that really came up with this idea, and we give him a lot of credit. Creative genius, wild hair, tow truck driving, crocodile wrestling, Juke Joint. Go follow him. And here we go. Indie Wrestling Aces. Hail, hail, hail. Hey, fucking love this guy's account. Love the characters. Look at this character. This dude belongs in this book. This one, not the one behind. So I just wanted to kind of show everyone what led to WildStorm Wednesday, and to me why it's important. It's my least popular show, by the way, but I love doing it. Like I said, I'm obsessive about it. But before we get into that, good day, good few days working on Trial by Fire. Little bit of a preview. These are going to go out onto the campaign update page. We have chapter 1, page 20, final page I needed for this. So chapter 1 now comes to 22 pages. And then we have the introduction of Abigail here. This is one second to the last page of chapter 2. I don't know. I wanted to draw a big booty broad, and I just said, what the hell? And I've ripped off Trent Contiguous Creed and did some talking sunflowers also, because why not? This is my book. So when I was publishing and getting into like Uzi Susie, my one sample that I would show around was this, and I couldn't exactly duplicate the paper quality, but I think we got pretty close. See how it's a little shiny? I fucking still hate that. I would like it to be more matte finished. So this, like I said, this very influential on a lot of the levels. But speaking of the black and white Jim Lee artwork, this is one of your only resources to get like a straight up Wildcat black and white. Okay, and issue 5 of Wildcats is Jim Lee's greatest issue ever, outside of the X-Men Wildcats Silver Age crossover. We spoke about that before. I believe we may have done that previously on WildStorm Wednesday. So a lot of the Ash Canes at this time were numbered. This is 1177. Ash Canes were highly collectible at one time. They came autographed, somewhat dealer exclusive. The dealers would get these at one point, and then they just started selling them. I believe they were available through Hall of Heroes catalogs. They were through the Star System and definitely through Diamond. But here we go. Let's just have a look. Now, look, I always Special Ash Cane Edition. I always love the inside covers. The ones I designed, I put so much work into. But look at the ink assist here. We got JD, John Tinge, and Rich Johnson. Rich Johnson, I believe, is on Twitter. He is a Twitter boy. Yeah. Brandon Cho, Jim Lee Story, Jim Lee Pencils, Scott Williams Inks, Joe Chido Colors, Chris Epilepis Letters. All these guys are all on social media. They're all there. But this is, here, let me show you. This is what makes Wildcats issue 5 the greatest work by Jim Lee. He does a lot of these super foldouts. So the Ash Cane duplicates that. Okay, it really sells the idea of what's happening in this book. And this book, you know, like, look, it's Wildcats issue 5. It's, you know, like it's military sci-fi superhero adventure. But here we go. Look at Zalot here. People call her Zelot. I call her Zalot. The greatest illustration of this character ever. Not that we have a lot of competition. It's like Jim Lee and everyone else is like a distant second. But look at the hair. Check out the hair of Grifter. It is just so well done. It's so wow. Now, this is 3 interconnected full-size comic book pages. And here we go. We go again. Oh, right here. I am sorry. I missed. So it's 4, not 3. Yeah, I believe I make this error too whenever I crack open issue 5. But here we go. And look, we just have typical Jim Lee. You know, I'm getting knocked out. I'm getting shot. These are the typical poses by Jim Lee. Jim Lee popularized these to the point where everyone was ripping off these types of, like, I guess they're like in your face throwbacks. Like they're being thrown back, but they're in your face. But then we also get some straight up regular pages. So now we read the book like this. It's so funny just the way how this is formatted. But we got some great. So like this face here too. I always wondered if this was a Jim Lee face or not. This Zalot here does not look like a Jim Lee face. But look, we have a great silhouette, you know, like action silhouette of an explosion happening behind Zalot and Grifter. But it's just really cool things. You know, we got Grifter shooting a dude behind the back, popping him off. Really, really nice storytelling. We got Grifter. Grifter's just always jumping. Grifter never not jumps. He's jumping. We have a nice animatic here. This animatic really solidified by Frank Miller in his work on Daredevil. Yeah, and then we kind of run into, like this page here, we run into some of the faults, some of the issues of Jim Lee, which is storytelling. Now, that doesn't mean Jim Lee, see, look, the Zelot face here just doesn't quite look Jim Lee. It just doesn't. So what am I talking about? Well, this page, it's very, very hard to determine what's happening. And every single comic page should stand on its own. Same as every single issue should stand on its own. That's also why Wildcats 5 is so freaking good, because it's not really connected to 6. It's not really connected to 7. It's not, you know, issues 1 through 4 was like your setup, your let's establish a whole new like superhero universe. So it had like all that going for it. But here, like Grifter wanders into a room. He hits a keypad, you know, tick, 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 tack, tick, tack. Kind of like maybe opens a gate and the villain is revealed. It's really tough. And it's kind of funny too, because I'm working on the page right now that has a gate opening. And then Grifter just goes crazy. guns blazing, Call of Duty style. He's shooting this dude, and now we have Misery. So Misery was a Mark Silvestri Jim Lee creation, and this leads into the Killer Instinct tour. So this character crosses over with Cyberforce. And then we have the typical Jim Lee close up. Scott Williams doing some wonderful, not just cross hatching, but it's almost like a gradation line effect. Really nice. This is not zipper tones. This is all pen and paper. So really nice shadow here. Like there's a little bit of a nose ring shadow right there. It's just so freaking sweet. But then we get Misery jumping in, fighting Grifter. This is what we do best. They're going back and forth. Jim Lee always good. See, it's almost like they fight and then they talk. And Jim Lee, like no one really does that as well as Jim Lee. But then Grifter gets hit with a psychic blast. He is at the mercy of Misery. Now he does this thing here, which was very there's prominent. We saw this in Gen 13. We actually see right here in the Jim Lee Gen 13 promo artwork. But he does this under boob shading, where he really highlights the boobies, and it is such a cool effect. No one has ever done as well as Jim Lee, but we see in his promo artwork too. We also have it with Fairchild. This, by the way, this right here is what sold Gen 13. I know people give so much credit to J. Scott Campbell, but this image here, teenagers with giant boobs, looking tough with giant guns, and check out the silhouette gun here. It is so nice, so well done. Jim Lee was just on a roll of putting stuff out there, and we have a nice pullback silhouette here. So there's somewhat of a portal. Someone gets whisked away. And by the way, speaking of Killer Instinct, here is our 2-page ad for Killer Instinct. Nice full bleed with the ash can. I firmly back that ash cans shouldn't have any full bleed pages. They shouldn't. It defeats the purpose of an ash can. And then, wisping in is Team Wildcats, Warblade, Maul, Spartan, Voodoo, and what's the name? Void. So here we go. And then we get Voodoo just shocks the villain's mind. He turns into a Demonite. Dude, check out Spartan. Spartan just blows a hole right through this dude's chest. I love it, though. But check out the pose of Voodoo here. Again, almost just stripper pose. What she is. Rival coming to the Image universe in 1994. Rival is yet to make any type of appearance. I probably would say that Rival got into some type of, but they got the trademark. There had to have been something. There had to have been, I don't know if we even know this yet, what really happened. But then look, we have Misery versus Maul. Maul takes a punch. Misery leaps over Maul. Great panel here. She flips over, and now she's face to face with Warblade. This is just setting her up being formidable against the Wildcats, because she's going to go up against Cyberforce in her next encounter. So really nice here. Look, see, talkie fight, and then we got Zila here, which was disappeared for a couple pages, but she flat out decapitates this dude. Spartan is going to jack into the computer because that's what he does. And check this out. He takes a couple wires and he just jams them into his eyeball. Just smashes them into his eye. How amazing is that? So he's reading on the info. Nice background hatching here. I like this. The hair is fantastic. The hair is incredible. Okay, great runaway silhouette here. Again, the master at action. Economical silhouette here. I don't know if I quite exactly agree with that, but he does such a good job in making Misery just formidable against all of the Wildcats. She basically takes out the entire team, and we really don't get a lot of Maul in scale with the other cats. And this, look, he's holding Warblade by the arm, okay, because he's increased the size. Just really nice. And then we have the team just ripping away at these Black Razor soldiers. Misery she got hit. They're wisping away, but then here we go. Before they exit, we have Warblade and Misery just going at it. Now look, this is all your time, and then look, we have our triple economical silhouettes here. I mean, you're on the deadline. You gotta get stuff done. And look, this is the Jim Lee go-to face-to-face. Doing this since the Punisher. That's okay though, because these are the things we want from Jim Lee. And then ending the issue, Wildcats are zipping away again, heavily silhouette. But this kind of works. This is like a 0.5 silhouette because we have the explosion, giant light source. But I mean, look, I get you got to draw depth. But this is okay. This is like, whatever. Could these be drawn in? Yeah, because like this is, I mean, the physical size of this is huge. But we have to go with a silhouette for Maul and Z-Lot because we're on the deadline. Now, what doesn't really get communicated too well is the facility, the building, the fortress that they were breaking into. It exploding and breaking apart just doesn't quite work. It works through inking effects. I would say all of the credit here goes to Scott Williams. They're trying to really sell the explosion. So we have some of these boulders here, and there's there may be like rock formations, but there's some extra shadow because the blast is so bright. And that's it, everyone. Like WildStorm Wednesday, this really opened my eyes to like this idea of what WildStorm was. And again, Wildcats 5 as a production, maybe the greatest produced book of its day. Just the way technically the complications of those fold-out pages, really high-end stuff, visionary, underlooked, underappreciated, and that's what led me to WildStorm Wednesday. So let's hit some of those chats. I know, isn't just the artwork just like amazing? Like here, like that's what you were commenting on. Like, look at that. Everyone, we have a bot in the house. What's up, bot? Rival has no rival in comics. Oh no, rival has no rival in comics, dude. I really want to do a rival story for Darkest Image 2. I kind of keep like going back and forth with it. Yeah, the ink work really is amazing, dude. Scott, it really, like, Jim Lee had to lock in Scott Williams, and just the harmony of the two of them, it's incredible. It really is. Yeah, that's the exact page. I know. It's amazing. Everyone, Ifki, thanks for hanging out, buddy. I love you. Let's get those Gators going. We will hopefully I'm going to try and live stream with Stanuary tonight. Rock and roll, everyone.